Imagine YouTube safeguarding one of the worst types of people imaginable on this very earth. Imagine YouTube also suppressing, censoring, and sometimes even banning the very content creators on this platform that provide evidence for those very same types of people. At the end of the day, in about the year of 2022, it's not 2022 just yet, but we're at a point with YouTube that honestly cannot be overlooked any longer. What's going on, everybody? Cryptix. And I know I'm a small content creator, I'm a small channel. This video will probably get like 100 views anyway, but dropping a like definitely helps the video get out there, the message get out there. It's not even about the money at this point, and you'll know why at some point throughout the video that it really does not matter for most content creators that do this type of investigative journalism. But at the end of the day, we're just going to jump into it because there's a very viral video on YouTube right now called Pick a Side YouTube from the popular YouTuber Mama Max. All right, so the backstory here is that he made this video kind of in a retaliation, I guess, manner, because about a month ago he made a video exposing a certain type of individual that was grooming minors, essentially. Basically, he had a 30-minute long video. It provided sufficient evidence that showed that this person was, in fact, a terrible type of human being, the P word, right? And all in all, YouTube decided to strike it down because there was an 8-bit, I guess, animation of a avatar with their buttocks on the video, basically. And it was obviously not real. It was in a video game. And at the end of the day, I do understand why YouTube is striking that down, but we've seen way too often YouTube taking down content creators, striking their videos on this very same type of, I guess we can call it niche content, investigative journalism on P words, right? So Mama Max made this video called Pick a Side YouTube in retaliation to that strike, and he basically had about 40 to 50 content creators talking about the nuances and just hypocritical behavior on the platform from a content creator's perspective. Now, it was basically echoing the same point, like every content creator was essentially saying the same thing for the most part. And the main point that you should take away if you want to save about 30 minutes of your time is that YouTube is making it very difficult for content creators to make this type of content to begin with, because they have to blur out names, blur out pictures, understandably so, the picture part, and essentially anything that has to do with the individuals in that type of situation, in that grooming environment, right? So they already make it difficult to begin with. On top of that, even when the content creator blurs out everything, YouTube can still decide to strike or demonetize it. And there's two different things here, right? So if you demonetize a video, it usually does not show up on the search algorithm, therefore gets like a fraction, if not less than a fraction of the views that a content creator will typically get. This has been proven time and time again with data. It has been just, an obvious point that most content creators understand, right? If a video is demonetized, they're not going to get views, therefore the message will not get out there. Now, a strike, on the other hand, which can also happen in this same type of content, basically forces the creator to not upload for about 7 days. And it can get worse as you get, the second and third strike. Second strike, I believe you cannot upload for like a month. And then third strike, you are done. You are banned off of YouTube. And sometimes YouTube will decide to strike 3 videos on a content creator's channel that has to do with this type of investigative content, and their channel will be banned permanently, right? So a lot of content creators were sick and tired of that. And they were even talking about the hypocrisy with YouTube, because sometimes, at least maybe even most times, mainstream media makes the same type of video talking about this individual with the full name, mind you, nothing blurred out in any regard, and the news stations, the mainstream media, gets put on the trending tab for the same type of content. So a lot of individual creators were pissed off about this type of thing. And again, the mainstream news makes the same type of video about the same type of subject with the same type of individuals and gets slapped on the trending tab. And I think a really nice prime example, we're going to have a couple of examples to explain, but a prime example that came to mind as soon as I saw this video was EDP445. Basically, all you need to know is that another type of content creator involved with investigative journalism was able to talk to EDP445, but this content creator that was investigating EDP was posing as a 13-year-old female. And as you can probably tell as to where this is going, EDP was saying weird things, sending weird pictures, and then eventually the content creators confronted him, and EDP was essentially caught dead in the water, deer in the headlights. He had nothing to say really because he had no proof to justify it. Meanwhile, the investigative YouTubers were able to provide sufficient evidence. And on top of this, later on, about 2 weeks later after that video went up, EDP was banned, rightfully so. I totally agree with that decision. And then YouTube decided to ban the other content creator that was investigating EDP445 because of some controversy that the content creators had about a couple of years prior to that video going on YouTube. So basically, YouTube shut down a content creator because they had something to do with something that had absolutely nothing to do with the EDP445 situation. And that's just how, unfortunately, that panned out, right? Now, another prime example of why I believe YouTube has a very specific bias towards certain individuals is James Charles. James Charles is a makeup content creator, and he's been caught, I believe, 3 to 4 times now talking to individuals that are not of age in a very specific way, as you can imagine. And they have been exposing James Charles up on this, and some people are kind of like baiting him to even talk to them in the first place. But then James Charles still falls into that same mistake of talking to these, people that are not of age, and then he makes an apology video, and then YouTube brushes it aside and says it's fine. Meanwhile, there's been a pattern here with James, and he's simply not being reprimanded for his actions, right? So the people, whether it's a TikTok creator exposing James or a YouTube content creator or whatever, it doesn't seem like it's getting enough traction that it should. And then James Charles is sitting pretty at 24 million subscribers and is making content like, nothing ever happened. There is definitely a bias with YouTube here on banning investigative journalists, banning certain, content creators that are exposing the worst types of human beings possible. And I really think there needs to be something done with YouTube. I hope it's not an Adpocalypse 3.0. I hope that YouTube can give a very clear outline as to what these investigative journalists can do and cannot do. Because at this point in time, YouTube's terms of service, and we probably all heard about it at this point, especially if you follow content creators, the terms of service are very general, very vague, and one day you could be making content that is okay on YouTube, and then a week later it's not okay, and you can get a strike on your channel, and you only get 3 of those. So it's very, very important that, YouTube is more clear about this situation, definitely more specific in regards to this type of content, because we all hate these types of individuals, the P word, right? We all dislike them, at least for the most part. I would hope if you're watching my videos, 100% of you hate those types of people, right? And I think, if the content creator goes about it the proper way by blurring things out and not, exposing the person's first and last name or doxing them or anything like that, I believe that YouTube should not only not demonetize those types of videos, but also make sure that they get some traction, because this type of investigative journalism that's done properly and follows YouTube's guidelines for the most part needs some type of recognition, because we don't like the certain types of people that, these content creators are exposing. It's a very simple concept, but YouTube simply cannot grasp it, right? So I hope you all did enjoy this video. I hope, I was able to give some pretty solid examples about what's going on here and what YouTube's bias is, because quite frankly, it does piss me off that, individual content creators, go through all this effort, provide sufficient evidence, make an entertaining 20 to 30 minute video on some topics, and then YouTube strikes it down or, demonetizes it, and basically all the YouTubers' work is going to shit, because if you get demonetized, your message doesn't get across because it doesn't get pushed in the algorithm. If you get struck, then you got struck, and you only get 3 of those strikes. So again, hope you all did enjoy. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe if you're new, comment down below what you think about this situation. Do you think there's other examples out there? Definitely comment them down below. I'm Cryptix, definitely supporting the Pick a Side YouTube video, and signing off.